Hey there guys, welcome to another edition of VGU Talks and let's talk games. So last week a big mobile game dropped and has pretty much taken over all the stores and has been declared as the biggest game to hit mobiles pretty much of all time at this rate. Of course, I'm talking about Pokémon GO. Oh yeah, it's gotten so huge that even us guys over here in the UK waiting for the official release have had to do some pretty backwards things in order to get a hold of a game. No, I'm not going to go into detail as to how you can get a hold of a game in the UK if you are interested. Today I'm going to be talking about something that's a little bit concerning with Pokemon Go, and it has to do with the lure. Now those who have played Pokemon Go know that you can get lures in the game via microtransactions or in-game cash, and pretty much what these are capable of doing is they're able to attract more Pokemon to where you are. But as well as that, there are also lure modules which attracts Pokemon to particular Pokestop locations for 30 minutes. And these are the better ones, because within that 30-minute time frame, anyone that's close by to that particular Pokestop for that 30-minute period can benefit from additional Pokemon, which in theory is amazing, isn't it? It gets a lot of people together, all doing the same thing. You get to meet new people, talk about the game, compare teams, maybe if there's a gym nearby, go against one another, see who can take out the gym faster. You know, it just adds that little bit of friendship to it all. And there have been some great heartwarming stories coming from these adventures, such as people potentially finding their new soulmates, making new friends, and so much more. But that's not the concern that I have, because in theory, this is just pure amazement, correct? But in actuality, something terrible has happened as a result of it, as you can probably expect. 4 teenage robbers were arrested last night in Missouri after using Pokemon Go to anticipate the location and level of seclusion of unwitting victims. This is a statement from Police Sergeant Bill Stringer, as reported by The Guardian. The felons were all aged between 16 to 18 and were in possession of a handgun. Stringer goes on to say this: if you use this app or other similar apps or have children that do, we ask you to please use caution when alerting strangers of your future location. On top of this as well, there have been some posts from particular family members and even some people's elders being very concerned about obvious issues surrounding child safety and all that jazz. But the biggest trick here is that whenever you load up Pokemon Go, there is a big safety message that comes up when you load it up, and it says to be aware of your surroundings while you're playing the game, regardless of which Pokemon are around. This includes when you're doing something as simple as crossing a road, just looking both ways before you cross, and if your mobile just seems to vibrate or let off a sound while you're crossing that road, you don't stop, look at your phone and try and catch a Pokemon in the middle of the street. No, you keep walking, because that Pokemon's going nowhere. You can cross the street, stop, look around, get that poke, and then start going for the catch. It's all about being aware of your surroundings. This also goes for if you are going to an area that you may not have been to before, or you're approaching a Pokestop where a lure's been activated, but maybe there are suspicious characters nearby that you haven't met before, that you're a little bit concerned of approaching because you're all on your lonesome. And of course, everyone is going a bit nuts, because this is another addition to all the Pokemon Go bad that's been coming out recently, including the likes of a teenager finding a dead body, and the unconfirmed story of a YouTuber in Colorado that has apparently witnessed a murder via that of Pokemon Go. Now of course, Niantic at this moment in time, they've paused the release for Pokemon Go's UK release as they iron out on what are the issues that are currently happening with the game. But at the same time, they've yet to come out with any announcement saying what they are planning to do with the lure system, if they are potentially going to change it. Eurogamer in particular came out saying that they would suggest possibly removing the application of the lure to affect everyone and just restrict it so that it affects you and you alone. Which is okay, but then that just cancels out the whole point of meeting up with new people. It doesn't entirely cancel that out, because you can still meet up with people still go out on poker walks together, meet up with new people when you're walking around all catching Pokemon, and then you see someone that's doing the same thing and you're like, hey, how's it going? You know, you've still got that kind of interaction here. But getting rid of that functionality where you have the Pokestops gets rid of the whole idea of meeting brand new people, because that's then going to add to the experience and just bring back that whole Pokemon mentality from back in the day when we had Red, Blue, Green and Yellow released. It's all about friendship. It's all about the friendship between you and your partners, between you and the friends that you have that are also playing Pokemon aside you, and that's what we all want in the end of the day. Now, of course, these are isolated events, they are few and far between, but they should still be warned about. So, I'm here today literally just out there to say to you guys, regardless of how old you are, whether you're 7 or 8 and you're walking around within the guise of your parents, whether you're in your teenage years, whether you're in or out of university, walking around on your own or with a bunch of your friends, catching Pokemon on the streets, in woodlands, in fields, all that good stuff. Have fun. Have a fantastic time. But heed that message. Keep an eye on your surroundings. If you do not feel comfortable going to a location that seems a little bit too fishy, especially if you are going there in the middle of the night with not a lot of lighting around you, it might be best to say no. The game does not force you to go to these locations. It is all up to you. Yes, I know you gotta hatch those Pokemon eggs that require you to walk 5k, but maybe you can walk 5k another way that's kinda safer. I'm just saying. So like the message says, be aware, be safe, and just have fun, guys. We don't want to have any more stories, especially if they are coming from the States, the UK, Japan, or anywhere else. We're all Pokemon trainers, we're all the same, we all want to have fun. Let's keep it that way. And so to lift things up for the end of this video, I want to hear from you guys as to what your favourite moments are from Pokemon GO so far. Have you made new friends that are now friends for life? Have you potentially met someone that you could see yourself living the rest of your life with? Have you just had some of those wacky moments where you've caught a Pokemon who just happens to be standing in the middle of a road as a car comes by? Let me know what fun things have happened to you with Pokemon GO so far in the comments below, and I might even do a video on it in the future. Who knows, with the best bits. I'm Dom, the expert of calls for VideoGamesUncovered.com, and I'll catch you guys next time for another edition of VGU Talks.